Nous allons donc reprendre avec cette fois-ci une présentation de Rob Joffre. Alors, Rob Joffre, ou alias Bob, pour ceux qui le connaissent mieux, a une vingtaine d'années d'expérience dans différents champs du lean management, les opérations, l'ingénierie et le développement de ce qu'on appelle le lean enterprise. C'est un, tout comme moi, Six Sigma Black Belt. Lui, il la porte fièrement. Moi, ça me prend des bretelles parce qu'elle cherche à tomber. Ceci dit, alors, il va nous parler de l'intégration des salles de pilotage et du Toyota Kata à Sigmapoint, l'entreprise dans laquelle il œuvre ces dernières années. Robert Joffre.
All right, thank you very much. We'll get started right away. So today's presentation is going to be focused on Toyota Kata, but specifically how we've connected Toyota Kata to Sigmapoint's strategic deployment system. So I want to just give a quick overview of systems themselves, since it's going to be a big part of the conversation. And I'll use the Shingo model as a way of demonstrating or describing systems in general. So what we're really doing is we're starting by focusing on guiding principles. Guiding principles in a form of an ideal. What are the ideals of the organization which will never change? There are many ideals that could actually stand for thousands of years. And one way of describing or showing an ideal is simply by giving some. So let's start with some technical ideals. 0 defects. Doesn't matter what industry, what service you provide, you do not want to pass defects to the next process, especially to the end customer, the person receiving the care. Another guiding principle is single piece flow. It's a lean principle that can be applied to practically any process and drive improvement, remove waste. Other guiding principles that are key are a principle of respect for every individual, right? A guiding principle of developing scientific thinking individuals. Toyota Kata is a fantastic system to help develop scientific thinking individuals, right? So that's an example of a system. And at Sigmapoint, we gain our systems from many different areas. We can gain systems from sharing groups like today, right? Benchmarking other companies. We can develop our own systems. Regardless of it, it becomes a pattern that we follow, which drives us towards the specific ideal, the guiding principles day in, day out, that we follow. Now, the systems are great, but we need something tangible, right? We need something in our hands, day to day, the individuals doing the work, which will enable them to follow this system or pattern. That's where the tools come in. That's the importance of the tools for us, right? Is it going to facilitate following the system? And then there comes the big check. So we have our guiding principles. We have our systems that we're following and the tools we're using daily. What is the output, right? What is the end customer, the person receiving this service, experiencing? What are the internal processes experiencing as an output? And then there's another aspect on relationships that I personally feel is critical and is a big test as you move through trying to manage systems over time. I like to think of an organization as a collective group of unique individuals that are collaborating towards specific shared goals. But they're also individuals who are unique, right? And they have their own growth goals and their own standards and what motivates them. There's two mutually beneficial paths that we can embark upon. Do the systems we put in place enable the development of relationships, or do they harbor them? And that's always an important question, I find. So with all that being said, what does it give us? It gives us a daily pattern of behavior. We're doing this daily, every individual, and I guess a way to summarize it, because often we talk about, what is our culture of our organization? Following that pattern is what will give us our unique culture within our organization. So just a high-level view. And now we're going to talk a little bit about some systems of Sigmapoint. Everyone will have their own versions or flavors of the systems. But one way we like to illustrate it is with three main systems of Sigmapoint. It's important to note as well as these systems are not independent. They're completely connected. They're interdependent on each other. But let's go through them. So the first one is what we call our 4 teams of Gemba management. So this is how we structure our management teams towards a continuous improvement model. The next key system we're going to review today is our 7 levels of experiments. That's our strategic deployment structure, right? How we run our experiments through the organization. And finally, we'll talk about the 6 critical elements. The 6 critical elements is what we've developed to allow us to enable and develop and create structures, teams of continuous improvement, straight down to the process level. Okay, so it's a check and a development plan. Okay, so we'll start with the 4 teams of Gemba management. It's important to note when we look at the Gemba management structure, it's intentionally hierarchical, if I said that word correctly. So it's intentionally set up from a viewpoint of a top-down system. But really, the goal here is a coach and learner exchange from a management system. Okay? That's really what we're doing here. And it starts off at a vision point. The vision point is really connected at the director level of the organization. Okay? They're looking at the goals of the organization. One of those goals is the development of people. Right? That is then shown through challenges and supported by the value stream managers. So what we've done is we've defined value streams throughout the organization. And a value stream is a business within a business. They're providing the total support to the end customer, the total flow. And the value stream manager is a really critical role because they're working cross-functionally across many different departments and areas of service and support, right? And they're definitely connected to the challenge and trying to reach that goal. Well, they're in partnership with somebody. They're in partnership with many people. But the person who is supporting them the most, closest to the process, is the value stream coordinator. And the value stream coordinator is often confused, especially when you talk to folks in a manufacturing environment, as the supervisor. They're doing a lot more than supervising. They're connecting the challenges of the organization through targets to the folks that are working really at the process level of change. And they're doing that in partnership with the group leader. So you can see in this box here, there's the cell, right? They're providing a service, and that service has individuals that we coined group leaders that are directly connected day in, day out with the work. In fact, what's really critical, they know the jobs. In fact, they can fill in and do the jobs. So it's a real direct partnership. In addition to that, which is really interesting, is we want to create an army of scientific thinking individuals, right? We don't want to have a team of exclusive experts that come to the area and once in a little while they can do a Kaizen project. We want to have every minute of every day having continuous improvement. Well, that daily work with the group leader, with the individuals at the process level, is teaching scientific thinking through the regular experiments. Okay, so we're going to spend a moment and talk about our 7 levels of experiments. This is really an illustration of our strategic deployment process. And here's some interdependence for you, right? It's on the left-hand side, you can actually see the same 4 teams we just discussed. So the 4 teams being directly connected to the strategic deployment process. And I'll just kind of break it down in a description. So you start off with the Hoshin team. The Hoshin team is the executive level team, and they're really looking at the long-term goals of the organization. Where do we want to be in 5+ years, 3 to 5 years? Where do we want to be next year as a major goal breakthrough? What's important here is that we're describing using language, using words, where we want to be. it's more than just a metric. It's a goal that every individual can feel passionate about and drive towards. Next, you'll see the tactical teams. So the tactical teams are receiving these major goals, and they're going down to the initiative level. What do we want to achieve this year as a critical point towards that goal? And here's another critical connection point. How do we take that goal and describe it starting to get into the process level breakdown? What are the process elements that have to be looked at in order to reach that goal? One of the tools we use often is a value stream map. There are many approaches of doing that. Now we're getting to the operational teams, okay? And the operational teams are receiving the challenge. So we're talking a lot about Toyota Kata. This is the point in which we are directly receiving the challenge that we're going to be working towards. And this challenge is being broken down uniquely to each operational level with their own set of challenges, okay? It then gets down to the action teams, target conditions, where do we want to go, and finally, the continuous every minute of every day daily PDCAs. So that's just a quick overview. We're going to get into a little more details. I'll go really quickly through an X matrix. So we use X matrix as one of our tools, and it's just a way that enables us to create a high-level plan, many tools to use. But I just wanted to highlight here, what we're doing is the Hoshin team is creating one top-level plan, and that top-level plan is including many different groups of the organization. Once that plan is created, each organization could actually create their own level 2 X matrix, and they can rotate and cascade. As an example, where do we want to be in 1 year, down to the improvement point, and then finally at the top to the challenges. So it's just a tool that we use. But here's a question of the day, right? Obeya rooms. So there's another key element to it, and that's to support the structure. And one of the ways we do that is we actually include Obeya rooms throughout the organization. So we talked about that level 1, that Hoshin team. They have one critical main Obeya room. That Obeya room is where they first do the initial planning, setting their goals, but also it's where they're going to check and adjust how the overall strategic deployment process is going from the feedback that's going to come bottom up through the processes. Then connected to the Obeya room in each operational level, there is their own operational Obeya room, which is doing the same practice, right? What is happening at the process level? What information are we getting? Where are the opportunities? Where are the issues? Let's check and adjust. And this actually is a cascading up and down, which I think this slide does a bit better of a job showing. So when we're looking at the actual structure, you'll see the first PDCA cycle, the executive level Hoshin room, and you'll see the Obeya room. And you'll see that they're actually passing down the goals to level 2, which is the operational level goals through challenges. And then where it's interesting is we're actually now going to transfer those operational challenges directly to the process level. And the process level is where we start to see the Kata storyboards, right? The storyboards in each cell. Critical point here is that we talked a lot at this moment of going top down. Very important point is that it's a bottom up as well. So the bottom up is issues identified where the work is really occurring at the process level. Those are where the real opportunities are. Those issues, opportunities are then transferred back up to the overall operational view and back up to the Hoshin team so they can ensure that we continuously adjust our strategy to meet our goals. Okay, so just another slide about Toyota Kata. And I just wanted to talk to it because a lot of us have seen the 4 steps of Toyota Kata. But just to kind of highlight it back in again, what we're really seeing is the challenge at the first step is really connected to the strategic goals of the organization, but connected at a process level, something that we can understand, that we can improve in 6+ months out. We are then going all the way down to the process level, and we're grasping the current condition. So what's the key point here is that we're first checking at the process level with the process teams, do we fully understand the process and the conditions in this area? We're not trying to solve the problems, let's say, in our boardroom, right? This facilitates the target being set based on the lessons and observations at the current condition and allow the PDCA cycles with the individuals doing the work day in, day out. So here's an example of our storyboard. I was really excited to see it in one of our slides, so that was a great partnership that we saw. The reality is you can use the traditional storyboard that's in the Kata book. It will work absolutely fine for you. The key is to have a method for a coach and learner to practice. That's the most important point here. But I wanted to also highlight another aspect, and that is the connection of Toyota Kata to every individual in the organization. So when we first started out, we had Toyota Kata practice going on regularly, and we were just learning out. So it was something that we were really doing at the direct management level, and we wanted a way to really engage with the individuals in the area as well and help develop them scientifically. So we really started to think about what methods can we use to connect each individual. And one of them is a practice of judoka, stopping the line. So we have enabled every individual at the process level to be empowered to stop the line as soon as they perceive an issue or defect. And what's really great about this is your first step of identifying obstacles and opportunities, right? We then have the obstacle parking lot, and we have we're always changing the tools, improving them, right? So we have a newer version that actually separates obstacles from the target condition and general obstacles. Either way, the individuals at the process level can say, identified this issue or have this potential solution. Let's just jot it down in the obstacle parking lot. There's a lot to do during the day, right? Let's put it down as one of the obstacles in our way. And let's do something else. Let's also generate an idea card. So this is kind of an interesting point. We started off with an idea program, and the idea program had basic collections of ideas, and we kind of quested out or asked out, folks in the area, can you just generate improvement ideas? And there was some excitement at the beginning, and we offered prizes and so on, but it started to tailor out. We started to think, how do we connect the ideas of the organization towards the actual goals of the organization? What would that do? How would that be interpreted by the employees? And there was a feeling like, what if they feel like it's all just nuts and bolts mechanics, right? We're just looking for ideas towards a goal. It didn't turn out that way. It turned out that when we gave an expectation at the cell, and we gave them the opportunity to pull the cord, the quantity of ideas to work and improve that consistent process started exponentially growing, right? And then we also did another area. We said, how can we increase Toyota Kata practice? What if we don't have a storyboard? In fact, the reality is we don't have storyboards in every area of the organization. So we actually took the idea card and created it sort of into a kata itself, right? So you can also ask the main kata questions through the format, through the idea card. In a sense, you can have a coach and learning cycle on the fly, okay? Once that obstacle has been selected, the individual, perhaps the group leader, and the process owner or the operator, or whatever term we use for the individual at the process level, now connect that idea card to running PDCA cycles. They do their experiments, they learn, and the key point is, it's no longer about the implementation of my solution, it's about what did we learn working towards resolving obstacles. Okay, so the last element I'll go through quickly is the 6 critical elements. And I'll just basically highlight what we've done is we found that we needed a system which allowed us to develop continuous improvement structures throughout the organization and touch the ground level, right? Touch the cellular level. So we created the 6 critical elements to walk each cell through the process. It's a ladder of sorts. And so I'll just go through them really rapidly, and you could kind of see it. But what we would do is we'd go into a cell and we'd say, do we have a management structure in place that supports our values? Do we have the Gemba management team in place? That'll be critical to drive continuous improvement. Then we ask the next set of questions, do we have standard work? Or does everybody know the standard to follow? It doesn't have to be the perfect standard, but it's a repeatable pattern that we have an expectation to follow. We also have to ask, can we see if the process is functioning as we determined? Is it normal or abnormal? With being able to see the process and knowing the standard and having the team in place, now we can stop the line. We could do Jidoka. What are the opportunities? What are the issues in our way? And with Toyota Kata as a method of teaching scientific thinking, we can now receive challenges. We can receive the goals and challenges of the company, and we can cascade them through the cell for improvement. And what does this give us? For us, our focus was creating autonomous teams, an army of scientific thinking individuals. Working through this process, are they autonomous? And that's it. Thank you very much.
On a une brève période de questions avec Robert. Alors, vous avez encore les deux microphones. Moi, j'en ai une pour qui me... You were present at the 2015 Kata with Mike Rother. If Mr. Rother was coming back this year and was visiting Sigmapoint, what he would see different from 2015?
Okay. I think one of the things that has really improved and grown is we started with the storyboard. We started with following the pattern. But if you went to a meeting at Sigmapoint, you'd probably see people asking the Kata questions. A few words may change, but the pattern is really in the management team. As well, whether we use an A3 report or whatever tool we use, that pattern, I feel, has really been embedded. Now, the exciting point is you can actually go to the process level, and in some areas, you're seeing operators and people actually asking these questions. I think that's the big gain.
D'autres questions pour Robert Jeffrey?
Any other questions?
No? Robert, thank you very much.
Thank you.